edition of Show Business. I come to you as always as CP.
And from the horror show, I'm Jaime and Fuego.
And I'm Lindsay from My 2 Cents and Nonsense. Hey!
And I'm Chauncey K. Robinson from Twisted Woman CKR.
Awesome. How are you guys doing so far?
So good.
Business, I come to you as always as CP. Oh. Wait, do I hear myself? Is that me?
That was me. I was trying to catch it at the same time.
Okay.
I also had to mute mine too because I had the YouTube on, so I'm like, nope. Trying to share the link.
So real quick, let's get to these not so impressive numbers, which are below us. We're working out the kinks, getting some fun features here on the stream. Number one this weekend was Honest Thief, which, if you don't know anything about it, it is Taken, except he's a thief. That's all I can tell you. It's Liam Neeson, which I think his wife gets either stolen or murdered, and he becomes a thief and exacts revenge. I really feel bad for him because some of those movies are fun, but I saw this trailer and I was like, Liam, come on, man. Did you Love Actually 2 or something? You gotta separate yourself from this stuff. I mean, it looks like if it. This is a movie that puzzles me why it went to theaters. I wouldn't mind watching this on VOD with my uncle's cable box, of course. But
plus, Liam's been the king of January for what, like 8 years
yes,
now.
Yes,
streaming is the new January. Just go for it.
Fighting wolves, rescuing family members. I mean, that just seems to be what he does now. So.
If Liam Neeson did a movie, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the Wolf movie, the one where he's like, "What's it called?" I watched this so many times. The Gray. Oh my gosh, I love that film. I've watched that so many times. It's just one of those films you can just keep watching.
Oh yeah.
See, I liked Run All Night because he played a drunk. He actually played somebody that. I mean, it was very similar, but his character was quite flawed. So it was interesting to see him in that role. In number 2, we have The War with Grandpa, which Robert De Niro. I don't know.
He always needs a paycheck, you know.
Yeah, but it's also got it's got Christopher Walken, Uma Thurman. It's got a big cast for whatever reason, and. Yeah. Does Robert De Niro have some like Nicolas Cage money problem?
He had a divorce recently.
Well, bingo. This is like his second Grandpa movie, right? Because didn't he also do the Bad Grandpa
Dirty Grandpa or something like that?
Or Dirty Grandpa, Bad Grandpa, something.
Yeah. Wasn't Aubrey Plaza in that?
She was. I love Aubrey Plaza.
She was quite a little
voracious.
That's right.
Trampy. I don't know a more polite word to use. She was quite forward. That's the word I want to use.
Yeah.
Forward. Number 3, Tenet finally fell out of first place, but it maintained its weekly average with 1.6. It's been 1.7 for about a month straight. So the same amount of people are watching Tenet, but it dropped. Wow. Number 4, The Nightmare Before Christmas, making $1.3 million.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
It's really good. One of my favorites.
Classic. Yeah, it's gonna go on my TV at some point this month. It always does. So
yeah,
it's great because you can watch it too. And you can watch it anytime from October through December, and it's still like time specific.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. It's an all season movie.
I mean, it's got throwbacks to Easter in it. It's all year,
Does it? Easter?
Yeah, the Easter Bunny shows up for a second.
There's like a door that goes to all the holidays. So yeah.
And I like that they never did like a sequel that like explored the other ones. I like how that's just a mystery.
Yeah.
That's so much better.
One is enough for that,
Don't tell Disney that. They'll
I know.
Oh no, they heard us.
They hear everything.
rounding out the top 5, Hocus Pocus once again sticking around with the $756,000. Yeah, so that's the cinemas. We all kind of took stuff in, whether it be Netflix or VOD or what have you. Chauncey, you caught up on a new one from Netflix. Why don't you get us started with your experience with a
yes
film?
The feel good Halloween film of the year, Hoobie Halloween. Oh my gosh. Adam Sandler. This was such a feel-good movie. At the end of it, I was like, wow, I feel so good. Like, it was very nice. It was had a lot of good humor. I think people who are fans of Adam Sandler are going to enjoy it. Those who, I feel like if you don't like Adam Sandler, we talked about this before, he kind of does that voice for some of his characters. He does that in this one. If you're not a fan of that, you might feel like this is a one-note kind of deal. So you might be sort of like, again, but I don't know. It just had some great familiar faces, and it wasn't like it had a lot of familiar faces in it, which was really good. But each familiar face wasn't just like, "Hi, can you guess who I am?" type of thing. It was like they actually contributed to the plot, of what was going on, which was really appreciated. Because I remember a few weeks ago, I watched The Dead Don't Die, and that was a whole bunch of, I felt like that was a waste of such an all-star cast because they didn't really have much to do but like die viciously. And in this one, because Adam Sandler, he always brings his friends and stuff, so it's like it was nice to watch it, and it actually still worked. Everyone was really fun in it.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I enjoyed it.
See, I was a little less enthusiastic about his voice and whatever it is whatever it is he was doing with his voice. But I will say the movie looked good. It seemed like the filmmakers were like it had a spooky vibe to it, like the tone, the color palette. Really, it felt fitting. It really felt right. Is what I can say. So it's not it's not a complete disaster, even if you don't like Adam Sandler. It seems like there's effort being made. It wasn't just Adam Sandler and 6 of his friends in Tahiti because. Fuck it.
That one,
yeah, which has been pretty much every Netflix Adam Sandler movie, basically. This one was fun. I mean, it's nothing classic or anything, but it's a sweet film that I think you could easily watch with kids, and everyone from Tim Meadows to I mean Shaq. I mean, it's cameos galore. The opening cameo is still probably my favorite thing because it's the return of a character from an early Adam Sandler that Ben Stiller played, and it made me laugh my ass off. That was one of my favorite moments. And,
from like Happy Gilmore?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I just gave that away, I guess. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, he's in the opening sequence.
It's early,
and he's great. Yeah,
that's really cool though. I've been waiting for old school Adam Sandler. Like I'm tired of Grown Ups. I'm tired of Just Go With It or whatever the style of movies he's making for the last decade. This gives me hope. Cool.
Have any of you watched Men, Women, and Children?
What's that?
The title, it rings a bell.
Who directed?
That's an older one, isn't it?
Ivan Reitman, I want to say, directed it. It's about 5 years old. It's maybe it's a movie you don't want to watch in 2020. It's about relationships and a bunch of people that just aren't happy. It's like the polar opposite of Love Actually, along the lines of Blue Valentine. If you've seen that, not the most beautifully shined light on romance and relationships, but I felt he did really well on that. And obviously Uncut Gems, he's got chops. It's just people want him to make comedies, and Netflix clearly wants him to make comedies, so there's that.
I'm very curious about this movie you mentioned though, because is it a similar vibe to like is it a similar vibe to like The Ice Storm, like all those late 90s movies that were just like about these people that were miserable in their relationships, and it was just very very rough to watch.
Sort of. I mean, it's not completely rough to watch, but like there's, Adam Sandler plays a guy who's kind of fed up in his marriage, and he's on what's that website where you're married but you're looking for a fling?
Swingers or something.
Wait, what was it?
Is it like Swingers? Twitter?
No, not Twitter.
Wow.
No, it's not.
What part of Twitter are you at?
Look, I've been busy lately, guys. Don't worry about it, okay?
Not swingers, but it's like I don't know,
like Tinder or no, website you said, right?
Yeah. There was that thing that like they got hacked a couple of years ago.
It's like something Madison, I think.
Yeah.
Madison.
Ashley Madison.
Yeah.
So he's looking around into something like that, and he meets up with a woman, and I don't want to spoil it, but the character comes through, and some things happen. I think I might have. I'll see if I can hook my uncle up with the. It's not a movie that I would say urgently watch, but it's if you want to see Adam Sandler in a nice reserved role, which is an Ivan Reitman movie too, by the way. So
that's always cool.
Yeah, I thought Up in the Air got a little too much praise, but Men, Women, and Children got not enough, so that evens it out.
Apparently it's free on something called Pluto TV right now, which I've never heard of before.
Yeah. Pluto's kind of like a Tubi where you watch stuff for free, but there's ads throughout.
Okay, that makes sense. I can
do they have? Is it like? Do they take the curses out and stuff?
No, there's no censorship I'm aware of. I mean, Tubi.
They have commercials.
Yeah.
I don't mind commercials sometimes, but when they neuter the movie, I'm like, oh.
Man, I grew up in that age of like movies like on a Friday night, but it was like cut from an R rating down to a PG-13. I kind of miss that sometimes. Just those weird butchered states they end up in.
That makes one of us.
Yeah.
Well, that's like when I never knew that they showed duck boobies in Howard the Duck until I saw it uncut. I never knew there was those kind of things in that movie, and that's one of my faves. But I always watched it on WB11, like back when it was WB11 when I lived in Jersey, and it was just. And then I finally saw. I'm like, what is this? Like what? Why does he have breasts? Why are they? What kind of movie is this? This wasn't a kid's film.
Yeah, definitely. What kind of movie is this? Because I still remember. I'm like, is Leah Thompson? Is Marty's mom gonna have sex with a duck? Like, what's going on here?
I think they do, don't they? Or something. They wake up the next day. Something happens. I'm like, how does that work?
It's a strange movie.
She got a little beat, guys. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry.
Lindsay, you didn't happen to catch Hubie?
I did not, but I've been hearing increasingly good things about it, so I'm probably going to fix that this week.
Did you pick up anything new this week that Oh wait, why don't you tell us about your experience with?
I watched the Dinesh D'Souza's new fake documentary. I watched that because I just love myself that much. The Trump Card, and it's just it's a Dinesh D'Souza movie. If you don't know what that means, he
propaganda.
Yeah, very, very crazy right-wing, super alt-right propaganda that kind of takes history out of context and tries to alter how things happened. And he's absolutely obsessed with Obama because he thinks it's Obama's fault that Dinesh D'Souza got caught committing campaign fraud.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And, and he somehow keeps getting money to keeps making movies. And I'm just going to keep watching them. I'm scripting an episode to talk about it right now. So we'll see. This will complete the trilogy. I've done 2 reviews on him so far. We'll see if I get the 3rd one out here.
I forced myself through Hillary's America, which was atrocious. I then watched, what was the one after that?
Death of a Nation. Because you always want to make connections with Rennie Riefenstahl's work with your.
Is that the one? No, wait, I might have it wrong. What's the one where they implied that Democrats were the KKK?
Hillary's America.
All right, so
I'm the expert on this.
Yeah. So yeah, once I saw that, I was like, you know what, you're off your ass. Michael Moore exaggerates, but you take the cake, sir. You are a
I directly compared Death of a Nation to Michael Moore's movie Fahrenheit 11/16 or whatever the last one he did. So,
11/9.
11/9, yeah. I did a 1-to-1 on them. It was fun. Check that out on my channel.
Yeah, Lindsay, my 2 cents of nonsense, which is getting a little bit of a mini makeover.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, I completely forgot to mention that before the show. CP, I love the stuff you're putting together for me. I am so excited to debut it. It looks really, really good.
Those are tiny. Those are just bumpers. I haven't really worked yet.
I'm definitely not satisfied already. What are you talking about? Like, no, yeah, keep working. Yeah, keep going, graphics monkey. Yeah.
Graphics monkey. And now I'm thinking of phonics monkey on South Park, because I always have to reference South Park at some point on this show.
Yeah, so you keep making content, sir, and I'll give you shiny things to put in front of them.
I like shiny.
And last but not least, for new stuff this week, Fuego and I took in a Cronenberg film, but not the one you're thinking of.
The Cronin kid, that's right. Brandon Cronenberg, who did Antiviral previously, and a different vibe with this one. Still a little bits of body horror here and there, but I went in expecting like full-on scare or whatever. And to be honest, CP, I thought it was more so like a espionage kind of film with some sci-fi psychedelic elements, but not really as much horror, despite some of the violence, which is graphic. But I mean, I've seen a lot of really graphic, violent action movies, and I wouldn't say the last Rambo movie was a horror movie, even though it was insanely violent, you know? So it was stylistic, well acted, well shot, but I must admit I found it a little bit lacking in the story department, especially in like the second and the third act.
I agree. Yeah. It did seem to drag a little bit. And it definitely has sci-fi elements, and like there's definitely something there. Emily brought something up that I was vaguely thinking of, but I don't see it through those eyes. So I'm happy to hear it from somebody else's perspective. She thought that there was this underlying subtext for trans culture.
Yeah, I think that's
really
fair.
Yeah. And hearing her say that, I was like, oh wow, that does actually make a bit of sense with what's going on with her character. And so how would you synopsize this film without spoiling it, Fuego? Because I'm gonna ruin it if I try.
Yeah.
Hey, you're aware of it. That's something.
So basically, there's a woman who is almost like I don't even know if psychoterrorist, like sort of averter is
Inception.
a word.
I would call it. She does Inception. That's what I.
Yeah. So there's a woman who basically she's like a government contract killer, but she goes about extracting those executions by being put into other people's bodies, taking them over briefly, having them about to kill themselves, and then jumping out of the body.
Controlling their brain, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's in there for what we see in the opening sequence, and then in her next job, after we get a little of her home life and stuff like that. And she is actually kind of an androgynous woman, so I can definitely see the whole trans culture with that. And also there's a scene later in the film, it's in all the posters, where there's like skin, like a mask being pulled off of a face, and so that transformative aspect, I can see the connotations there. But she goes on her next job, that when she tells her family and her employer she was going to have some downtime, and there's complications with trying to leave the body of her next target, and that's about all that we can say without going into too much else.
Right. She gets in a little too deep, and things get sticky.
Yeah.
I would say if you're into classic Cronenberg body horror, there's enough going on there. and it's certainly a sci-fi movie that whether or not you think it's too slow or plotting, there's things to look at. There's I remember thinking, we can move a little bit faster, but every now and again it was like, oh wow, this is unique what we're looking at. So
that psychedelic sequence about halfway through the film especially is very trippy and gave me vibes of like Altered States, for instance, which is one of my favorite films.
I have not seen. So
that's another one that a lot of people have been telling me to get on. I keep hearing incredible things about that.
Yeah, that was a mushroom movie for me in my 20s, guys. So yeah, it was always an interesting experience.
Altered States.
Altered States. Yeah.
Was that the actress in this the one from Mandy?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she's a really good actress. She was in that short series, that limited series about that cult too. The cult with that Messiah guy with the glasses. I forgot.
Oh,
David Koresh.
David Koresh, yeah. The whole Waco.
The Waco takeover. Yeah, she was in that series Waco too. She's really good.
The Paramount movie, the 6.
Yeah, the Paramount one. She was in that.
Yeah.
Who was she in that?
She was the one that got pregnant. She had long blonde hair in that one. She was the one that got pregnant by him, but still had a husband who ended up being his BFF. That was her. She's like a chameleon when it comes to her characters. Like you can't even. She kind of just becomes them.
Yeah, she's almost like. Yeah, she's almost like a Tilda Swinton in my estimation, where she can just. I mean, she can do that whole metamorphosis and be just about anybody. So
cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there are a couple of movies. Even though, if you want to watch Liam Neeson. Mm-hmm. Be an honest thief, you got that. If you want to watch Robert De Niro pay for his divorce, you got that.
I want to see Liam Neeson be the bad guy in a Taken type movie. So instead of his kid getting taken, he's taking someone else's kid. Like, just change it up. I don't know. Like maybe it doesn't have to be a kid. Maybe it's like a dog. So you're like combining like
John Wick.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I would like to see him in a ruthless role, though. I'm kind of trying to rack the brain if he's ever played a villain before or not.
I can't think of one. I would love to see that.
Schindler's List? Can't you technically say a little bit there?
He did tear up the list. I'm sorry, that's a dumb joke.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, he was on the wrong team to begin with, so there's that. On to news. I apologize to those of you in the chat. We will get to the chat. We're just going to shift to the news for a little bit and get at you. I see that there's 30 comments waiting. We have 4 small stories that we're gonna get through. Otherwise, I'll forget and then whatever. So the first bit of news, which just recently popped out, was a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel.
Cool.
Poster dropped, and apparently they're going the Halloween 2018 route, where it is a film that takes place after 1974. It is a sequel to the original.
But it's ignoring all the other sequels that have been. So, okay. Yeah. Just wanted to clarify. Okay.
And yet the original sequel is so great. I know it's more tongue-in-cheek with Dennis Hopper and all that stuff, but that's a thrilling finale. Yeah. More on the comedic side of things. So.
How do we, Chauncey? You're in the horror community. How do you feel about Texas Chainsaw Massacre? How do you feel about him coming back?
I love the first one, that 19, all the like layers of like playing on what we can learn from the media and then, thinking about whether this was some question about the Vietnam War and all that other stuff. So I think, if it's in that same vein of using, I feel like nowadays though, I worry that they'll focus more on the gore of it and not the vibe that was in, because one of the cool things about, I think, the first one that I really enjoyed was it was kind of surreal, the way it was going on, the long kind of maybe too long screaming scenes, things like that just made you like, oh man, this is creepy, but then it keeps going. So like, wow, I'm now uncomfortable and then still going, you know, like things like that where it really just kind of thinks about kind of setting you uneasy. And also the idea of, they played on the idea of, you know, working people losing their jobs and what some people in the most extreme sense would turn into, right? Like these people used to work in the meat packing the meat slaughtering thing, and then they lost their thing, and then what did they have left except to kind of do the whole cannibalism and go crazy? Now, of course, that's not what happened to everyone, but this is what happens. It's like an extreme version of what can happen when society forgets about people. It doesn't take care of people. So there's layers, and I just worry sometimes that they'll take just the idea of this chainsaw wielding guy who wears his victim's skin and just kind of go in that realm and kind of, I don't know, you know, suck out all the things that made it so unique and not just, you know, body horror.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. As the sequels moved on, they got so far departed from what made the first great, and the Leatherface character, like that's the only like major horror character that throughout the films I always felt like I never really had an understanding of what that character was about. Like it was just okay. So he's into cross-dressing now. He's
the second one. Then.
Yeah, he's a pseudo hero. He's actually the victim because the family are the assholes.
Yeah, the third one.
Yeah, he's learning how to use speak and spell. Like, am I supposed to feel sorry for him? Like, do I feel bad for him? Or
that's the thing, is you're supposed to sympathize with our villains. If Maleficent told us anything, is that, you know, they like to flip that script. But
they just did it too much, though. Every movie, it was just something different. Where it's just like, all right. So we're forgetting the other thing now, then?
I mean, you can make it. Oh, go ahead.
What's the one with Alexandra Daddario where they like try to make the whole family sympathetic?
That was either 3D or the prequel or what? God, I can't remember.
3D. It was 3D.
Oh, it was 3D. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay,
yeah.
It's she was his cousin.
Oh, that's right. And he spares her because family love. Oh my, something.
Which was the one with Matthew McConaughey?
That's the next generation. Renee Zellweger.
What? I didn't see this one.
Yeah.
Two Oscar-winning actors in perhaps the worst Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
It has its fans, but yeah, I'm not too fond of it. I mean, it's just weird. The first film, to echo what Chauncey said, the first film actually, it's not a very gory film.
No, it's not.
It was the subsequent entries where they really went for it. I still remember watching the remake with the girl from Seventh Heaven, and like where that guy's leg gets cut off, and they put the rock salt in, and they put him on the hook. Like that movie is disturbing compared to the original one, and I actually think that's the only one besides the initial Tobe Hooper sequel that's really any good. So this is a franchise that it's like Leatherface. The last few that they've done, I thought were just pretty crappy. So.
Yeah. I give that movie credit too because Jessica Biel was quite attractive in that film, yet did not get nude.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, neither did the girl in the first one. They kind of stuck with that. Like none of the girls got really like naked.
Oh, she got in a bikini though, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She did.
In the first one?
Yeah, right. Wasn't she like on the bench and she was in a bikini?
I know Biel.
What am I thinking of?
Biel was scantily clad in the remake, but I mean, it's not a franchise like Friday the 13th, for instance, that was notorious for its nudity in various countries.
I just argue either you better show some peen and balls if you're going to show breasts so much, or leave something to the imagination. You can be really sexy and turn people on, you know, with the male gaze without having to use nudity. I mean, her outfit left very little to the imagination, and she
what, Jessica Biel's?
Yeah, she's in fantastic shape.
Jessica Biel had the whole, you know, Jennifer Love Hewitt, what are you waiting for? Kind of going on, which was the thing.
It was right around the same time too. Yeah.
It was that was the whole thing. Put them in a, you know, yes, I have boobs. I just bounced them, but like it had the whole thing.
Wait, whoa, Shanti.
I know, guys, I know.
You're blowing my mind here.
Well, I mean, also in the
that's what was happening in that one, and it was okay, I guess.
And in the
I actually saw that one first before I saw the 1970s one.
Oh, okay.
So that was my reference, you know.
I think there was that backlash to like a lot of like actresses taking their clothes off in the late 90s though, because even Scream, I Know What You Did, so many of those, they didn't have nudity in them. It was almost like the anti-80s slasher where there was like boobs galore because they were like making fun of those tropes and that like meta awareness. So
I'm wondering if post Me Too, if films are gonna have so much nudity, because it seems like, you know, that casting couch deal, that the culture should change now. You don't.
I think a lot of it's already kind of because like PG-13 has kind of become the go-to for horror, which I'm not super thrilled about, but like I think like like whatever the equivalents that we get nowadays to like the slasher movies of the 80s, you know, like your Fridays, your Halloweens, and your Freddy's are now like your Blumhouse horrors that are all PG-13, and you know sometimes pretty dang good, but other times, you know, not so much, but that happens. But I feel like that's just not even really a thing anymore. Even before Me Too, I feel like Fuego said, like the 90s kind of started it. And I feel like that did kind of, it's been petering out for a while. Like every now and then you get something like Piranha 3D, but that was like a parody of all those kind of bad horror tropes anyway. So it made sense for them to swing into it.
And then 3DD, where it was more ridiculous. It's at a water park. It's even stupider. Trust me.
Oh, yeah, wow. I mean, when they realize that they're just being ridiculous, it's one thing. But you know,
what is it? Freddy vs. Jason that just opens with like "Hi, top off" or something like that. Like the first, I think it's like the first 10 seconds of the movie.
Oh, that's Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh, Jason Goes to Hell. You're right.
Oh, when she's like, but
taking a shower. It's dark. Let me take a shower because, you know.
But that was to lure him into a trap, because you see that's what Jason goes after, camp counselors who can't keep their hormones in check. They just Jason X. It was the whole thing where suddenly there was a computer simulation of these like, we're horny and we're counselors. Let's get and then, like the next scene, he's like beating up against a tree.
Yeah,
that's one of my fave Jason.
I love Jason X.
So good.
Jason X is the shit. I've been so tempted to pick up that box set CP, but I don't have the $130 because I saw it's even cheaper on Amazon right now. It's like $129. But
can you not buy it individually? Do you have to get it like in a?
It's in a box set. I mean. They have an 8-film set, which is like $20, where you get 1 through 8. You don't get Jason Goes to Hell. You don't get Jason X, and you don't get Freddy versus Jason. So
but as Vince DeSanti enlightened me, those first 8 films are considered like a singular canon, and then To Hell and X and that other shit isn't in that continuity or something. I don't know. He was explaining it to me in Cecil.
So, that makes sense, though. It does, because the way he went from being, it was the mother. Spoilers. It was the mother. You haven't seen it. It was the mother, and then suddenly Jason was actually alive all this time, and then suddenly he does get killed. Like it takes like 2 films for him to finally get killed, and then what was it? The 5th one, he finally becomes undead. I think it was like not
6.
Yeah, 6 with the lightning strike.
Yeah, because it's funny because I feel like in popular culture, there's always this idea of he was always undead, but in reality, they kind of had a progression, which I honestly think is, and I say this all the time, I feel like that's honestly much more than the Halloween franchise did, because they never could pick his canon. And you know, although Jason was kind of like a little bit of a mimicking of the whole Halloween thing, because it came out, I think, a few years later. I feel like they did the canon way better. Like they actually picked where he was supposed to go. There was a progression with each film, you know. And now the Halloween franchise, 1 minute it's this family cult, the next minute it's I don't know what it is.
Halloween 3.
I just never read. He wasn't even in the 3rd one,
which is my favorite in the franchise. I love that movie.
Yeah, the 3rd one was good. And the thing is, now when you go back to the 4th one, you're like, well, are we back in the movie verse? Because in the 3rd one, we were watching Michael Myers on television. So did we just kind of ignore that the third one established him as a TV character.
Yeah.
You know, like where are we at?
It's Jamie Lee for 2, then it's 3, then it's what's her face for 2?
Darlene Harris.
Yeah, Danielle Harris.
Danielle Harris.
And then it's Jamie Lee again,
and then Ludacris shows up for one movie.
And then Hollywood.
Cool J.
Cool J. The Cool J.
Yeah, but then Busta was in the next one, remember?
Cool J, Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Tyra Banks. That's when they inserted more black characters.
Yeah. and then Rob Zombie took it and swung it in the exact opposite direction, and he said, "We're going to do the exact opposite of black." And
we are going to white trash. We're going to white trash this up, which is what he did. So I don't know.
Add a little like sexual assault in there for good measure, like he likes to do.
I can't.
His movies are so weird. I don't know if I like him as a director.
They just make me. They just make me feel dirty after I watch them.
It's like, what is this? I do like Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
Let the bodies hit the floor.
And come on, the song about the Munsters car, Dragula. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, which they have this Dragula special on Shudder that's all about drag queens and horror and stuff. It looks pretty dope. I think it premieres in a couple of days. So.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Another trailer that dropped recently was the Fat Man.
Yeah.
Starring Mel Gibson, which is
but no, because it's Mel Gibson. Yes, this concept. No, it's Mel Gibson.
So I haven't seen it. What? Fill me in. What am I missing?
So Santa Claus is a mystical elf that lives at the North Pole, who every year on Christmas gives toys to all the children throughout the world. And in this movie, he's played by Mel Gibson.
Yeah, so Mel Gibson basically killed Tim Allen and took over the role, and and so he gives like coal to some kid, and the kid hires Walton Goggins to kill Santa, and it looks R-rated and insane as all hell. And I actually do feel like I need to watch it.
And he's like an old, grizzled, like drunken Santa.
It's
like,
so
you
gritty.
Fuck with me.
Like it's like some weird gritty kind of thing, and it's just I don't know. It's so like it's good looking. I'm just like, wow, this is a movie I would go see. Like this whole thing, like you came to kill the wrong one, and I don't think I got it in me. And then his Mrs. Claus, who they strategically made a black woman because this is Mel Gibson, and we need to forget he was racist. And, and she's a great actress though. But like, but there's this thing where it's like they're like getting the weapons ready and stuff. I'm just like, what is this movie? He gets like the military comes in and wants his help, and he's like, you guys need my help again. Like what?
So it's Santa Claus, but he's like an action star?
Yes, he's like an action guy.
So I mean, it looks straight out of those 90s action films of absurdity that we just got all the time back then. And that's the vibe it's given. So
I could use absurdity. Absurdity is okay at a time like this.
It actually really works. I just don't know why I mean, I can see before his controversy why they would have went with Mel Gibson, but I feel like they're kind of putting they're stacking the odds against themselves a little bit by that. But then again, I mean, not everyone's outraged, I guess. He was able to win. Didn't he win an Oscar recently? Was nominated?
He was nominated.
Yeah. For someone who thinks Hollywood's the devil, as he's quoted in saying in some QAnon conspiracy videos, they seem to still like him. So I don't know.
Well, Hollywood's a little hypocritical at times. So
he was in the doghouse for a while, though. I mean, his little movie that got him a little bit of clout again was that the Jodie Foster one, The Beaver, where he was like the depressed, messed up guy talking to the hand puppet and everything, and that was him, like, kind of opening the door and trying to put half his foot in, sort of thing. And
Hacksaw Ridge is a good movie.
It's a really good
$180 million.
Really good movie. Yeah, he's a great director. He's shitty person, obviously, but he's talented. You know, there's unfortunately a lot of people like that in Hollywood.
What is it about shitty people that make good directors? I don't understand what the.
I I don't know.
Controlling.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's one of those things where, especially when the Me Too movement came about, it was like this idea, like even what's the guy who likes the young girls?
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen. See, you even know, right? It's like there's Woody Allen. There's Brian Singer.
Brian Singer was who I was thinking of.
Really
yeah,
notorious.
Settled out of court with those underage kids.
Yeah,
that
just
he's
notorious.
like, let's just film you boys naked, even though you're 17. I mean, come on.
And there's this idea of, I've heard when all this started, people were saying, but these people are super talented and, we gotta just, but it's also this idea that there's an old guard there too, where it's like, there are plenty of talented people out there. The real question isn't why are all the talented people assholes? It's more like, why do assholes keep getting these opportunities? Who's the people in power that give the assholes who happen to be talented opportunities, as opposed to the good people who are talented who could get the same opportunities?
It's all that good old boy shit, man.
Yeah, and it's like, what's that about? Because it's not this idea that you have to be a crappy person to be talented. Now, it could be questioned if you're like insane or something, or weird thinking. That's different. But it's like, if you're straight up a predator and all this other stuff, I don't think that's, I feel, and there's such a weird conversation sometimes that happens online where people are like, well, sometimes they got those weird urgings. That's the trade-off for such great genius. And I'm like, that Max Landis or whatever his name was, or insert mediocre guy, white dude here who gets to fail up in Hollywood.
I mean, what?
Like that's not a given.
That's nepotism, Max Landis.
It is.
There's no way he would have.
It's not just him though, but his dad as well got away with,
No, the stuff on Twilight Zone, the movie.
With a helicopter?
Yeah. On the first films where they
yeah.
talked about that. God damn him. And then he got off, So, and if you've seen any Max Landis interviews, that little asshole comes off as so unbelievably entitled. It's insane.
Yeah, he's a little undeserved of the ego that he has.
And he did Bright.
He did Bright, yeah.
And it was
did he?
Yeah, he wrote that,
although he did American Ultra, and I actually really liked American Ultra, so
I hate admitting that I enjoyed American Ultra.
And honestly, I really like Chronicle. I Michael B. Jordan movie.
Oh, it's
I
great.
haven't seen that before.
Oh, Dane DeHaan is great as the villain in that film. That's a talented kid too. So
what's funny is Dane DeHaan and Michael B. Jordan have gone on to have great careers, but I don't think the main guy in Chronicle has really done too much since. I could be wrong. I'll look him up in a second. But one interesting detail I just actually noticed looking, because I've got the box office here for Hacksaw Ridge.
Okay.
It did, like I said, it made 180 million worldwide. So, that's more than a successful film for whatever its budget was. I'll see if I can find that actually. 40. So yeah, more than profitable. But
great cast too.
Oh yeah, great cast. Sam Worthing, Vince Vaughn, Andrew Garfield.
I think Hugo Weaving was in that too.
Ooh, maybe. It only made 67 million stateside. It made over half of its money in the rest of the world. So maybe it's people in the States that are kind of cooling off on Mel Gibson, but it's worldwide where they can still kind of milk him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and maybe he's still marketable for people who don't pay attention to that news, where certain things that people say on recordings aren't as, I guess, poignant to everyone else.
Whether they're an actor or president, it doesn't matter. Just a hot mic.
The next bit of news we got is New York City, the 5 boroughs of New York, which is the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, which is where New York City, everything you know about New York City is in Manhattan, and Staten Island. They're getting prepared to open shortly, but the rest of New York State, I think, has gotten the green light to start opening theaters, and AMC is prepping their workers to get back going. We've also heard that the next 2 weeks coming up could be the worst 2 weeks that we've experienced yet for COVID. So I shudder to think what the fuck is happening?
Right. Our priorities as a human race, that's what's happening. That there's still a push for creature comforts, like watching something on the big screen. I think AMC is actually renting out the theater too. For like starting at $100, you and your friends can go to the theater and watch it on the big screen. You know,
sounds like fun. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Watch what though?
Exactly.
War with Grandpa, or Acura, Empire Strikes Back, something like that. I don't know.
Everything's been pushed back. This is where it's like, well, now what? Now you're all backed up into 2021. What are you going to show?
The show business. We're going to pay $100 a week, and they're going to show business and AMC's.
Well, I mean, can't you rent out a theater? Yeah, you can rent out a theater for like a couple $100.
Starting at $100, you can rent out. So, I mean, I don't know. It just seems weird to me that we're heading towards a resurgence, and it's already been on the rise. And there's this idea of opening back up. I mean, when we think about what New York and like the tri-state area, pretty much. I mean, as someone from Jersey, with all my family over there, it was rough, you know, when it first started, particularly for that area. And then they became a model for what other areas should do because they closed down and because they were so strict about it. So to kind of go from that to leading the way for like opening up during this time, it just seems kind of counter. I don't know if that's like business pressure or something, or.
I'm dying to know just what money gets you, because it seems like if you have a business, if you're worth a certain couple of $100 billion, you can make people make decisions, and who the fuck convinced New York to say, you know what, AMC, you're right, we'll open theaters because fuck our citizens. They need to watch War with Grandpa.
Is the capacity still like 20% though? Like
30, something like that.
Yeah. It says 25% in the THR article. No more than 50 people allowed per showing. So that's about how they're going. And the interesting thing is that once this news hit earlier today, stocks rose for Regal, AMC, and Cinemark respectively. So
I wouldn't buy stock with
movie theaters right now. Hell no.
No.
So you buy it, you wait a day, you sell it. You buy low, sell high. That's how you do it.
It's all a gambling game with this stuff. That's not real. Stock market's not real. It's just all in the air. Funny money, air money. That's all that is.
I just watched The Wolf of Wall Street for the first time about a week or so ago, and quite a film, I gotta say. But I mean, between that and Boiler Room and Wall Street being another one of my favorites, Gordon Gekko, Michael Douglas, one of his best performances. I mean, it's just, greed is good, but goddamn, is that a scary idea to think that so much of the world revolves around that.
Boiler Room is underrated. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Ben Affleck has a hell of a monologue in that movie where he's like addressing all those guys.
I saw that one, yeah.
And for the last bit of news before we head to you guys in the chat, shifting focus to the VOD, Disney dramatically shifting their focus to streaming moving forward. Soul is coming to VOD for Disney, and coming to America, which is not Disney, but that was announced as coming to VOD exclusively this upcoming season, which will be on Amazon.
Yep, December 18th.
Yeah, so we have like conflicting reports here that theaters are opening back up, and then you have people like Disney saying, "Well, we're gonna put all our eggs in the VOD basket."
Yeah, it is nice with Soul, though. I got to say that it's not going to be a Mulan sort of situation where they're going to charge extra for customers to actually see it. Christmas Day, it's going to be available for everybody with a subscription and no additional charge. Which, I mean, that was one of my most anticipated of the year as well. So
looks fun.
Yeah, it does. It does. And
I mean, Pixar, right? So
Pixar, correct. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jamie Foxx, if I remember correctly. Also the girl who did Mean Girls, who was on SNL, Tina Fey.
Tina Fey.
Yeah, Tina Fey. So
yeah,
he looks cute.
Seems
yeah,
like
and the stuff. Yeah, and also the whole celebration of music thing. Anytime a movie does that, I'm all about it. So.
Sure.
I feel like people. Oh, go ahead.
That's what I liked about Coco, the way they embraced like the music from like a lot of the.
One of my favorite Pixar. So good.
I think coming to America can have the same benefit that something like Bill and Ted did, where especially considering it's just going to Amazon, like it'll be free.
Yeah.
If you have Amazon Prime, it's free. I think that's going to benefit drastically from people just being like, well, here's something new, and I remember the first one. Let's watch Coming to America. I think it'll do quite well as far as getting eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not it's a good movie, that's a different question. But I'm rooting for Eddie Murphy, and
amen.
Yeah, because Dolomite, that was
robbed. It was robbed.
Yeah, no nomination. Legit one of my favorite movies of the year, and I know we've talked about it before, but Wesley Snipes is friggin' terrific.
Right?
Dude, he was my pick for supporting. Yeah.
He was so good in that. The whole cast, it was just fun. It was a quality film, you know. Actually had a feel good vibe to it as well, you know. I think Coming to America is going to do fine, to be honest, because, it's something that has the nostalgia, but without the whole let's do a remake and Eddie Murphy's not involved kind of a deal. It's, it's under his creative venture, and he's still got it, with, the way, I mean, he ain't like, I remember one time when the Nutty Professor stuff came out, people were like, so how does it feel to be back? Once he had another film, he's like, where I've been, the bank? Like, he's talking about back. I've been putting out movies what are you talking about? Right? And whether it's, there's been a few stinkers here and there, but given his history and like the history of his films, like Harlem Nights didn't get as much play as it should have. That was one of my favorite films, and Boomerang, things like that. I was just going to
mention Boomerang.
And it's like, he has such quality work, and I think he'll do the same with Coming to America. And like you said, with it being available, more people watch it. But I honestly say for that, I think people would have been probably willing to pay for it because, I mean, the first one is such a classic. So,
yeah. It's just interesting. You have two very different approaches, and they can't both succeed at the same time, can they? I mean, if you have, I'm gonna call Coming to America A grade release.
Yeah,
an A grade release.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, right around Christmas.
Yeah. So, and what is coming to theaters in the next couple of months now that everything's all like, bye, we're coming out in 2027 now because we're afraid.
There's the Crude sequel. There's Wonder Woman on Christmas Day. I mean, Wonder Woman on Christmas Day. It still hasn't moved. It still hasn't moved from Christmas Day.
They really aren't moving it.
They haven't yet, at least. So yeah. I think maybe they're just waiting, hoping to see what happens when LA and New York City finally tries to reopen, and then but they're probably sitting like ready to push the button to toss it into next year. But
no one's running to the theater. Even if they open, they're not gonna get the rush of people. It's gonna take months before anyone's super comfortable going back to the theater in that capacity. And honestly, when it comes to VOD, I'm like, if any business venture, just follow Disney. I don't like the mouse, but like they got inside track and stuff. If they're talking about we're focusing in on that kind of thing, I'd probably follow the people who know how to make the money.
Yeah. That's a money hungry mouse right there.
Right? Like, wouldn't you follow those people instead of the dying industry, the dying businesses that are like grasping for air?
It's just so funny. Like they announced AMC's bringing employees back, and it's just like, for what? Yeah. What are you showing? You're getting too excited. What the hell are you gonna do? There's nothing to show.
Yeah. Well, they're still Unhinged and New Mutants and Tenet, and
Oh no!
I hope New Mutants is in theaters till the end of the year. I hope it has a long ass, like 4 or 5 month run after all this time of having to wait for it.
I like that movie. I thought it was pretty good.
It was a lot of fun. It was a little slow in parts, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Mm.
You know, guys, something that just occurred to me about the whole thing going to Prime that's so brilliant, and Jeff Bezos, you know, we all have our thoughts on that guy, but it's a brilliant marketing tactic because you have to actually have Prime, their subscription service, to be able to watch it. And so they're probably going to get a lot of new subscribers, but unlike a Disney or a Netflix or whatever, you're so much more inclined to spend additional money on all kinds of other shit on Amazon if you have that Prime membership. So what an evil yet brilliant marketing tactic on their part by grabbing such a high-profile film.
That Prime membership is a deep dark hole where you're like,
well, I spent some money on Prime Day, guys. I probably shouldn't have. I'm like,
I did as well.
Yeah.
2-day shipping. I mean, I already have it, so might as well just go ahead and.
And they say 2-day shipping, but then they say already delivered. I'm under your bed because that's how good the delivery people are. Like they just are it just comes right to you. It's you know, it's a monopoly, but it's you know.
It's hard,
as you guys know, I got a new mic in the last 2 weeks, and I paid for, you know, whatever, next day shipping, fine. I'll have it at 8 o'clock at night the next day. It was there at 9 in the morning.
Wow.
And I live like up on a mountain.
On time.
Yeah,
they
you
get
guys,
you there.
You guys are in Cali. It's a little bit. If I were closer to New York City, I'd have the same situation. But I'm a little spitting distance away from New York City. So let me get to the chat. You'll have to excuse me. I'm going to rewind all the way back to the beginning.
How far are we going back? Way back.
Quick thing. We asked Liam Neeson as a bad guy in movies. I have several. Dark Knight Rises, or no, Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah.
A Million Ways to Die in the West. Random, but you know. And in the Lego movie, he was good cop, bad cop.
That makes me think, did you guys know they're doing that Lego Star Wars holiday special thing?
Wait, what?
Yeah, so they're doing a Lego Star Wars holiday special. I don't think it's
like remaking it, or
that's what the details are a little scant about it, but there's a bunch of the voice talent from the series coming, and I'm not sure how Lego it's going to be, especially since that Lego Ninjago or whatever the hell that last one was called, I thought was actually pretty subpar. But there's November 17th, a Lego Star Wars holiday special coming. So
okay, making a
wasn't there supposed to be a Robin Hood Lego?
I think so, but they put, after the second film underperformed, and then the Lego Ninjago, I think is what it was called, that also did very poorly. They kind of put the brakes on like Lego Batman 2 and some of the other properties they were hoping to tackle. So
Lego Batman was amazing. I love that movie. They should totally come out with a sequel. That was awesome.
I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Really, it was good.
Yeah, you know, Lego should get the same. I don't know what it was that Ready Player One had to do to get all those rights, but Lego should do something like that where it's just open world and get rights to everything. Where you have Chucky, you have Iron Giant, you have Batman, you have all these things where, I don't know how you'd get. Where the start off point of the story is, but I don't know. It's kids playing with Legos, and you're, like Toy Story. You're just in the world of these toys, fighting one another, and I don't know. Just see some interesting things like Chucky battling a DeLorean. That always jumped out at me in Ready Player One. It's like, I just saw Chucky in a Back to the Future car. I
sort of liked Ready Player One, and I love Spielberg, but I'm sorry, Spielberg was not the director for Ready Player. You should have gotten a younger guy who was more in touch with the pop culture and video games and stuff like that.
Well, excessive. It was a lot. There was a lot to take in.
Well, I mean, just like just like give like little I don't know, like you got the Ninja Turtles and Masters and the Chief from Halo. Like, how do you not have like the Master Chief like ride on a turtle shell into battle or something like that, and then have Donatello pop out and then they fight back to back? Like, you got these characters in a movie, do something with them. But I also did like it. I don't know. It's weird.
All right, so catching up with the chat. What's up, Dale? What's up, Tom? What's up, Mark? That is you and Fuego. What's up, Mid-Level Media? Welcome. First time in a chat. Welcome.
Oh,
Ben. Ben says you can still watch it in VOD in a couple weeks after it's out of theaters. That is referring to Honest Thief, I think. Tom, what's going on? Ben says, who the hell's still watching Tenet? Well, $1.6 million worth of people.
Yeah, and it's at 333 million worldwide now. So, I mean, there's still other people outside of this country seeing it.
We can blame them for the resurgence then and all over the globe. Because there's a resurgence happening everywhere. Too many people are going to see Tenet, guys.
Yeah. What's up, White Tim? He says hi to all of us. Hi, White. Hi, CP Chauncey Lindsay Fuego. Ben says Hubie, Halloween is so fun and great. Awesome Halloween vibes. Yeah, it definitely got the mood.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, it felt right. All right, Dale's leaving. Good night, Dale. Good to have you here. Didn't know you watch WILIscredia. Okay. I am WILIscredia, but sure.
I'm WILIscredia.
Razor Wire Reviews says, well, he wanted to deliver on his promise to make shitty movies if he didn't win an Oscar, right? And that of course still goes back to the Hubie Halloween. People answering the Ashley Madison question. Wasn't she in the terrible Grudge remake? Yes, the woman from Paranoia. Yeah.
One of this year's worst movies, in my opinion. That and The Turning were just and they both came out in January, if I remember correctly. Just yuck.
Oh, so a premise on this Leatherface movie is that he goes to jail.
Okay.
For 46 years and is being let out in 2021.
Is that what they want to happen, or is that what it actually is?
I'll believe either.
It literally is just Halloween.
Oh, but if it's a sequel, then he didn't get arrested at the end.
Well, maybe they'll start this movie with that
she didn't call nobody to go back there. She's probably in a psych ward, the girl at the end, the way she was yelling and screaming and laughing.
So Ben says Fede Alvarez is producing the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It'll definitely have tons of blood. Producing,
although they did fire their director.
Very different. Oh, they fired the director already?
They're already doing that?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, they saw the dailies and they were not liking them, and so they're one guy and they switched to somebody else. So, not a good sign.
Not good.
By the way, I literally just now watched the new trailer for The Mandalorian that just released 23 minutes ago.
Cool.
I had to have the volume a little low, but
I didn't know.
They showed him using the jetpack. And I'm like, yay, jetpack. But then like the way he activates the jetpack is like a little thing on it, like kind of like the Rocketeer. So that kind of made me go.
I'm losing track. I haven't even picked up on Fargo yet.
Oh yeah.
Tony says, my only issue with Texas Chainsaw 3D is I thought that the carnival scene was a big miss opportunity of the film because there's so much you could do with that Leatherface running in a carnival. Yeah, sure. There's lots you could do with Leatherface, and carnival, I guess, is certainly.
He walks up to the shooting gallery at the games section of the carnival and just chainsaws the whole thing.
It fills the clown's mouth with a water balloon and whatever. They fired the directors after a week of shooting the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and the guy they hired, I never fucking liked or life. I don't understand. That was Scott says Cool World is awesome. Brad Pitt before he was Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That had the Roger Rabbit type vibe, right? Where it was like cartoons with the live action.
Wasn't that Kim Basinger too, as the female lead?
I
maybe
so.
Yeah, she was the blonde.
Yeah.
The blonde with the white dress on, kind of like the Marilyn Monroe figure. Was it Kim Basinger?
It was. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
that's a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah, it was good.
That's from the same guy who did Fritz the Cat.
Oh wow.
Zachary Haith says, "I'm so ready for Fat Man." I need to watch this trailer because
you have to.
I have no idea what the hell I'm in for.
It's outrageous.
Guys, I'm going to ask you nicely, please. If you have something to say about me, you do it about me. Please respect everybody else on this show and anybody else in the chat. We're here to talk movies. Just don't be a dick, even if it's.
Oh, I see your comment.
Even if it's a perceived compliment, it's unnecessary. We're very intelligent people. Well, everybody else here is very intelligent, and we're
except for me.
We're here to talk movies. So, focus, guys, focus. The Manhammer says the House of Mouse will one day fall. That's going to be a very long day in the future. I don't know.
It's a monopoly, right? I don't see it happening. Although, okay.
I was going to say, they own my childhood. They own Marvel. They own Star Wars. They own Alien and Predator. All my favorite shit. They own all of it now. Somehow I don't really see that happening. But
I mean, they could get like broken up maybe, and then like after like a big bust up or something, then maybe little parts start to fail. But like the whole thing.
I mean, Microsoft seemed to figure it out just fine, right? So
that's true. That's true.
Sexy Monkey says Harlem Nights is classic, phenomenal ensemble cast. That's right on. Manhammer says theaters are lame. To a certain degree.
I think it can be fun, depending on the kind of movie.
I'm not a big comic guy, but the experience I had watching Avengers Endgame with a full house was really something special. That's the stuff that like you hear our parents and grandparents talk about when they saw Star Wars and how much of a big deal it was. And we'll be saying that someday about Endgame to people.
I think one of my favorite moments I've ever had in a movie was in Last Jedi, when like the ship turns around and light speeds into the other one and the whole movie just goes silent. So like the entire crowd was like, oh, and just like quiet as like this, like just like letting this visual sink in. And then a kid in my screening is like, "Mommy, why'd the movie go quiet?" It was just hilarious. Like the entire theater just lost it. It was amazing.
Like, what's going on? Yeah.
Ben says,
I just want to say though, I will never be telling my children or grandchildren about anything of Marvel. I would never be putting anybody on my knee. Let me tell you about Avengers. Come on.
Look, they assembled. What do you want? Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the Batman franchise.
Whatever
guys.
you heard was exaggerated.
Exaggerated.
Let me tell you about Aquaman now. Hold on.
Yes.
So Ben says theaters are selling out where he is. So there's that sold out showings.
I know he's in the Midwest. I met him at Texas Frightmare last year, if I remember correctly.
That's awesome.
And, I'm trying to remember if he's in Kansas or somewhere in that area. But I mean, it's as far as daily reporting and actual spread of infection and stuff like that, it's drastically different in certain parts of the country. So I mean, here we're only getting a couple hundred new cases every day, and theaters have been reopened and all that stuff. So I don't want to say it's a case by case basis, but I mean, people still need to take it very seriously. So.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how much we respect the process. I don't have faith. I really don't.
But Midwest states are seeing an uptick.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's seeing an uptick. I thought the whole country was doing.
There's a lot of early vote, a lot more early voting going on right now than 2016 alone.
And I thought we were talking about COVID.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at
something. Were you talking about voting? You were talking about voting, Chauncey?
Yeah.
I was talking about the uptick of the virus.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yes, voting is also happening.
Well, I was going to say, remember, those votes will be lost, and you'll find them in the trash, and blah blah blah.
In a ditch.
Someone in LA, I don't know if you heard, Lindsay, but like someone put a newspaper on fire in one of the drop-off things.
What?
Yeah. I hope people can check where they dropped off. I'm not waiting. I'm just waiting till the polling day. I'm just gonna drop it off at the polls. I don't want to get into politics, but someone's putting up phony, non-legal ballot drop-off boxes here. Like, it's crazy right now.
And like, they're questioning the legality of it. It's not like straight up illegal. They're questioning. I'm like, how? How were you?
The guy is a professional at projecting.
Yes.
Whatever he brings up, he's either doing or planning on doing. Everything he accuses somebody of, like when he wanted Joe Biden to get tested for drugs, the fucking guy's on
Adderall.
Adderall, methamphetamines, he's just
Well, who do you think bought all that meth from Heisenberg and Breaking Bad? It was Trump. He literally bought all of it.
Couple more weeks,
And just to connect that to movies, since the documentary "Totally Under Control" came out recently, which is they basically interviewing people. It's getting really good reviews. They basically secretly interviewed for months people within the administration, doctors and whatnot, about the response to the plague, the modern day plague that we have going on here, and it's really in your face kind of. And a lot of doctors and scientists is coming out basically saying they had to break their silence. So it's like making the rounds right now. You can get it on Amazon Prime. I'm probably going to watch it tonight or tomorrow.
What was it called again?
Totally Under Control.
Oh yeah, I did see about that.
I'm really curious to see what documentaries, like say 3 or 4 years from now, are gonna show us just how fucking off the mark we are right now, and how much we even now we don't know, and how bad we have it, because there's stuff that every now and again some great filmmaker opens up some information and it's just like, oh my God, it was really bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, because the financial situation, what was it? Inside Job was a documentary I watched, and I felt sick to my stomach about money.
Now that one, and then Enron, Smartest Guys in the Room, is another.
Oh
one.
yeah,
the Totally Under Control is made by the same people.
Oh, okay.
Enron, totally. Yeah.
Okay. You guys ever see Waiting for Guffman? That's such a good documentary.
Oh, I
haven't seen that one.
I'm laughing because it's a Christopher Guest. Yeah. Oh man, all of his stuff is terrific. Best in Show. That's another terrific documentary. Best in Show. Yeah, it's good.
I'm trying to remember the rock and roll one. I'm blanking on it right now.
This is Spinal Tap. Can take it to 11, man.
Ben Grimm says Lego Batman had a bunch of characters from other franchises, kind of like Ready Player One. Yes. Shanti 504 says Ms. Hollywood. I'm assuming maybe that's a friend of yours, Chauncey.
Okay. Is it a movie, maybe?
It says Ms. Hollywood.
That's the sequel to Lego Batman. Lego Batman 2, Ms. Hollywood.
Okay. Cool.
Is it really? I don't know.
Trini, yes, I did have to mention Star Wars. I can't go 1 week without mentioning it.
Just like
Shanti
I can't go a
said
week
they were
without.
talking about Cool World. Shanti said they were talking about Cool World. Miss Hollywood. What's the name? What's the name of that character?
Oh,
Thank you, Shanti.
Yeah. See, this is what happens when you do it backwards and on a delay. All 3 Lord of the Rings in Australia cinemas was nuts packed and standing applause.
And that's a place where the numbers were rising again in the last couple of weeks.
Huh.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hocus Pocus was sold out for showings the first day. Not full theaters, but 40% of seats were sold out. Yeah, they're going to have to do that for a while.
Yeah.
And again, knowing what I know about the other end of the theater business, I don't know how you can sustain on 40%, even if you sell out all the time.
How many of those people are buying popcorn?
Yeah.
That's the important part. They need to make their money there, and if you're not allowed to fucking take your mask off to eat, then theaters are just. I don't know. Where are you making your money?
What they need to do is they need to invent a snorkel mask combo that you can like put the popcorn in the top.
Yeah, the helmet with some stuff.
Yeah, and it just it just feeds you.
Yeah, just like in there. Or those beer bottle things and something like that. I don't know. Or like just a bigger tank around your face and you can put your hand in and come back out.
Those old school World War II masks that's like filled with popcorn on the inside.
Like a horse feed bag.
They got to figure it out. They got to figure a way to make it like it's one step for people to actually want to go to the theater, which is a whole to do, and like still try. And it's getting people are going. It's 40% capacity or 20%, I think here still or something in some places. But I mean, you also still then have to make that thing of okay, do people want to buy food? Like, am I going to want to sit here? Or am I going to just watch the movie? And I don't really think people are at that step yet to just be wanting to feel comfortable with open containers and stuff that you can't put in a microwave for, I don't know.
Yeah. The microwave built into the chair. You just put it in.
Yeah. Cause they say, one of the things, if you get takeout and stuff, they tell you pop it in the microwave for 50 seconds. That kills it, cause heat kills it or something like that. So you can't do that at a theater, so I don't know.
Interesting strategy, actually, though, the microwave. I hadn't tried that yet.
I do that with all of the stuff. Again, like even salad. I put it in for at least 10 seconds.
Salad?
I do, but that's why I avoid ordering salad. Like if I'm ordering takeout, I just get hot food a lot of time, but sometimes it comes with a side of something. So I try to put that in for a quick 10 seconds.
Huh.
Makes sense.
Interesting. And last, as we're caught up, is Sexy Monkey, who says, or people could just stop living in fear. That's one viewpoint. I will stay inside. Thank you very much. I have a collapsed lung, and I am not going to risk it. Yeah. So that catches us up for this week. Just like always, after we go down tonight, something will come up newsworthy that we'll talk about. That will be exactly 6.5 days old. But
there was one bit that I wanted to ask you guys about. It's not a confirmed story, but the rumors have been swirling like crazy. Who thinks that we're actually going to see Tobey Maguire and Garfield in this third Spider-Man movie? Like the rumor has been going everywhere about.
I thought that was pretty steady that they were going to do that.
Because they're doing multiverse, right?
Yeah. Sony has neither confirmed or denied, so it's one of those sort of situations. I mean, I'm all the fuck for it, to be honest. But I mean, hey, I was just curious what you guys think.
I would jump for joy and go yippee if that gets confirmed, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's not Disney, it's Sony. I think Sony, the companies that aren't Disney are more inclined to be like, well, try this, fuck it. And it does seem like, because Multiverse was such a fun experience.
Love it. So good.
And I'd love to see Miles Morales, like animated Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Be like the live action, the cartoon character in the live action. That'd be fun.
Sure.
Just go for it.
What do you got to lose? Don't put too much money into it. Make it about the different Spider-Man. Like, don't go crazy with CGI and stuff. Just make it about these different Spider-Men,
people
interacting. Spider people. Because there's even a pig in multiverse. There's two females. There's a robot, right?
Yeah, there's a robot. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch.
Well, and I mean, even when they did the Clone Wars and Maximum Clonage, and you had like Scarlet Spider, and you had Kane, and I mean, it's been a big component of everything Spider-Man since like the 60s or 70s, I think was the first time you discovered the clone aspect, and then they got into all the multiverse stuff. But it is interesting to see that we would be getting this Flash movie with multiple Batmen in it, and then also potentially a Spider-Man with multiple previous Spider-Men. So there seems to be all the rage, all of this different multiverse stuff. Stephen King did it first, but it's fine.
DC is a bit better at doing different Earths and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean,
the Justice League stuff is pretty dang good.
Yeah, but Tobey Maguire was my favorite Spider-Man, so I'd be happy to see him back.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Raimi's second one is my favorite Spider-Man film of all.
Yep.
So good.
Yep. Firmly agree. So that catches us up for this week. What do you guys got coming up?
Actually, I have one piece of news that got broke on Twitter.
I'm just gonna keep saying we're done, and you guys are just gonna
actually.
Stuff out.
This is worth at least giving a shout out, just to send thoughts and prayers. Jeff Bridges has announced that he's been diagnosed with lymphoma. So just positive vibes to Jeff Bridges.
That sucks. Thanks, Lindsay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to bring the room down.
Yeah, that's possible to recover from, right? Lymphoma?
Yeah, apparently he's got a pretty good prognosis.
Yeah, Alex Trebek is still hanging around, and they thought he was going to be dead years ago at this point. So, positivity, prayers, positivity, whatever y'all believe in. So,
yeah. All right. What do you guys got coming up in the next week or so, or anything you want to plug?
Just scripting the Dinesh D'Souza Trump card movie video. It might take a couple of days. I live with my dad, and he's going in for a surgery, so I'm gonna have to be caretaker for a few days here. But I'm getting that together, so that should be up by next week.
Sweet, Fuego.
Well, I mean, being October, so much stuff on the horror show. We're in the midst of this week, so we reviewed the entire franchise, including the television series, ahead of the review of the new film that actually comes out tomorrow, Trevor's 7, Shrieker Island. We also put up a review recently for Books of Blood, which is the new Hulu adaptation of the Clive Barker property, and I really liked it.
Wasn't that already a movie?
It was a movie in 2009, and then this is more of an anthological take on it with like interwoven stories as opposed to adapting just one story, which is what they did with that 2009 one. So that's a thing. And then also on my personal channel in Fuegotainment, we Rebecca is a film coming out this week that I'm curious about. That coming to Netflix on what is it, the 20th? It's like kind of a drama of sorts, and then also the. What is the other one that I had coming? Sorry, guys, just looking real quick. I want to say The Trial. Yes, that's right. The Trial of Chicago 7. That's another one that I'm going to be putting up a review of. And then lastly, my band Chiron. We just debuted our music video that I shot, edited, and directed. It's a cover of the Guns N' Roses song Civil War. We felt like it was a very poignant song to be putting out here just a couple weeks ahead of the election. And the music video features our new badass lady of color, Roberta, who is our singer for our band. And so it was a labor of love, a lot of effort that I put into it, and the rest of the band as well. And her vocals are kick ass, and it's something I'm very proud of. So
awesome! Is that on your YouTube as well? Your personal YouTube?
I was thinking about uploading it onto my own personal one because it's just on our little one that we started up for our band, and there's
get some subscribers
there. Yeah, but it was a labor of love, and it's a song that I think is very just necessary right now for what we put out. So
Great name for the band, by the way, Chiron. That's dope.
Yeah, named after the trainer of the heroes in Greek mythology, and we're like a crazy horror concept metal band and stuff. But yeah, she's bringing like more of a power metal vibe to our band as opposed to screaming and roaring like we did before. So.
Nice.
There's still a little bit of that, but
Chauncey, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm starting back up with my video reviews on my YouTube channel, Twisted Woman CKR. So I've got 3 videos coming out this week. Tomorrow's going to be my full video review of Hubie Halloween. And then the next day, I'm doing a spoiler-free review of The Haunting of Bly Manor for people who are into the haunting.
The whole series.
Yeah, a spoiler-free kind of overview of it, just because it's Netflix, and I just find like most people, if I do like episode 1, most people have in the first sitting seen all 4, so I don't think they really want to just go through each one. So I do like an overview, and then there'll be probably sometime next week a spoiler-filled one of Bly Manor, and then hopefully this week, once I finish filming that one, I'm going to do a spoiler-free review of the new Hulu series Hellstrom.
How is it?
No.
I watched the trailer, and
I don't even say that because of my Marvel bias at all, because I didn't even know, honestly, going into this, that this was based off of what was originally supposed to be Adventures in Fear, which is what the Marvel was doing with their more horror tinged stuff, and that got thrown out of the water or whatever, and so this was still out because I guess they filmed it, and it's missing something. Charisma. I don't understand why every so-called gritty series has to do that gray filter. I mean, one of the places this takes place is in San Francisco. I live there. It's not that dark all the time. Like it just isn't. I just don't understand why the whole series is like that. So that'll be coming out spoiler free. I don't know if there'll be a spoiler filled one of that because I don't know if I want to dig that deep into that particular series. But yeah, I'm getting that started back up, and I have something new coming out, 2 new things coming out. One I can't really announce, but the other one is on my channel, which is I'm going to be doing some more focused on B-movie horror kind of program coming soon.
Yeah. The bed that eats?
Yeah, with the secondary person on it who may or may not be a demon. So.
Oh.
So yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. And over here, if you're a patron, you're going to slowly get the leaks for 31 on 31, which will premiere on the 31st in proper. And there's a couple of other things that will be bled out over the course of the next couple of weeks. But I've been all hands on deck with ranking. I don't know, what is it? 7 franchises. It's Alien, Predator, Critters, Gremlins, Jaws, Jeepers Creepers, I Hate Life, Stab Me in the Face. I've watched 31 terrible movies. Somebody kill me. But there's a couple other things.
Watch Jeepers Creepers enough. That might just do it there for you.
Dude, there's 3 of those.
That third Jeepers Creepers is so embarrassingly bad.
Yeah,
that
it just got weird. I was like, what is this? I didn't even realize it seemed like it was like a whole bunch of cuts put together of different things. I was just like, is this the same film? I don't know. I just felt weird.
I don't want to spoil anything, but it's very near the bottom for me. Very near the bottom.
I think the second one is the best one of the 3.
I am right there with you, 100%.
Yeah,
I like the opening of the first one. I really like the opening 20 minutes of the first one. Other than that, whatever.
The first one very well. The second one is a lot of fun though. They got that dad on his revenge with that cannon.
There was some really moments, you know, like I don't know, and then some really scary moments. It was really well done. I thought it was well done.
What about when he licked his lips? That was cool. Okay.
You know, honestly, given the controversy around that sequel was on brand, but it was just like, I mean, if you didn't know that, it'd be like, wow, this is really some creepy, weird stuff.
Yeah, because there was stuff going all the way back to Powder with that director, right? I mean, we're talking for a long time.
I love how every it seems like every time one of his movies comes out, there's like this group of people that are like, did you know that he did this and this? And it's like, yes.
And you're still allowing him to work. Like,
did you just find out? Because this isn't news anymore. Yeah. So hopefully we'll have something. There's nothing really coming out, right? Not even digitally this week.
Yeah, The Secrets We Keep, The Vanished. I mean, Unhinged arriving on home VOD. Yeah, there's definitely not a lot. I mean, Tremors 7, guys. There you go. You also have.
Actually, I do want to see that. I love Tremors. I do want to watch Tremors 7.
And then you have the Witches coming to HBO Max on the 22nd.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, curious about that. On the Rocks is the new Sofia Coppola with Bill Murray and I forget the name of the girl from Parks and Rec. She was also on The Office, but it's the two of them as a father and daughter, and she thinks her husband might be cheating on her. Marlon Wayans is in it as well as the husband. So I mean, it's and also Borat 2 is this week, guys, which I'm stoked for.
Yeah.
That hits Prime on the 23rd. So
really? Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot happening this week. It's just nothing really theatrically. So.
Okay. All right. Well,
I am such an idiot. I was sitting here going like, wait, what actress was on both The Office and Parks and Rec? No, Rashida Jones.
That's her name. Yeah. Only Quincy Jones's daughter. I mean,
for real?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Quincy Jones' daughter.
Yeah, it's Quincy Jones' daughter. I think she was able to start getting into business. I mean, look, you can trace a lot of these people back. They start getting their jobs because who's they're related to. Nicole Richie. Lionel Richie, adopted daughter.
Oh yeah.
God, I saw a trailer for that Nicole Richie Queeby or Kibi whatever series, and I just about wanted to go vomit. It looked so awful.
All right. So any last words, ladies and gentlemen?
I respect Rashida Jones. I just had a memory lapse.
All right, guys. So we'll see you next week. And Rashida Jones, don't hate. His name is Lindsay. So if you want
anybody,
give it to him. Thanks everybody in the chat for joining us. Thanks everybody for watching in the future. We've been Showbiz.